key, I can set the building on fire.
Yeah, if you can go ahead and move your stuff down into storage room B, that would be great. And you know what? While you're down there, go ahead and go ahead and clean that up. Would you do that? Great.
Take my stapler. This movie. It's
a cult classic.
It is a cult classic. Welcome back to Back to Classics, the cinematic movie podcast that takes you back to the iconic films of 20 years ago, right here on iHeartRadio, Spotify, and iTunes. I am your guy, Jay Alonso. With me, of course, is my co-pilot or co-worker.
Is that? We're no longer flying a plane anymore. We're just
we're at the office.
We're at the office.
We're at the office. Yeah.
Can't call it the studio right now. It's the office. David Danger Neff, what's going on, man?
Man, it has been an interesting week. Hell, it's been interesting the last few weeks. First of all, let's go ahead and send our from the heart apologies to the center folks out there. We did not have a show last week. We know we were there. And we opted to take the week off because, well, hell, I wasn't feeling good.
Right, exactly.
So I went out of town.
First and foremost, are you feeling better?
I am feeling a lot better.
Saw that you went to L.A.
Went to L.A. Shout out to my cousin Jose and his beautiful girlfriend Mersha, who showed me and my girlfriend a great time. Above all else, I did get with a few friends out there. I got with, of course, Jen Skirley from the Wood Podcast. Shout out to her.
That's good.
But yeah, I was leaving L.A. to come back home, and I had got this emergency notification from the Weather Channel about the Cajon Pass. For those of you who aren't used to that drive from LA to Vegas to LA, there's a certain mountain you have to kind of cross to get over to either one or the other. So it's the Cajon Pass.
Right.
What it is about a 20 to 40 mile stretch of mountain roading that is really high up in elevation. So whatever we're feeling here is like 20 times worse up there.
Right. And the worst part about this is you actually have to drive through Death Valley first to actually get through El Cajon Pass. So it's like
exactly.
You're at
coming from Vegas.
Right. So you're at the lowest point in the United States at one point, and then you're super like you're really high up actually.
Yeah. So we were hit with a notification saying that it was a winter storm warning, indicating that it was going to be some snow and, black ice on the roads and a shit show of traffic. So I'm not doing that shit at night.
No, of course not.
So I have to stay one more day in LA. And I got to say, I besides the fact I'm coming back with a cold, I had a great time.
That's good.
How was your week?
It's good. I'm kind of doing the whole daddy daycare thing, being a softball coach, and trying to take care of business on the beat side. Obviously, dropped some articles, dropped a couple reviews. I know usually we do reel it back, but I felt like it was good to kind of get some reading source material for those that were tired of videos. Also, a couple opinion pieces on canceling the cancel culture that's out there.
Yeah, I came across Michael Eric Dyson's interview on The Breakfast Club talking about canceling cancel culture, which we really should.
It's awful. There's nothing positive that comes from it anymore. All it basically is now, it's a way to stop dialogue altogether and make sure that nobody gets a chance to learn.
Well, there's that, but I feel like there's this era we're in now to where like it's this outrage. I must be outraged about every fucking thing.
Right. And it's toxic. It's egotistical. Also, like why does your feelings matter so much in what is exactly being discussed? And I understand like there are certain things that you can feel very strongly about, obviously, but come on, like after a while, you can't just say, well, I'm never going to watch anything or listen to anything or support this person ever again. Why? Because he said something very simplistic, because he dissed somebody. It's just, it's so petty at this point that it needs to change just in general.
That's a perfect segue to this next topic, because we are going to announce real quick that we're doing a live stream for the Oscars.
That's right.
I cannot wait to see this train wreck of a show. And I love that. I'm an Oscar fan, but whatever's going on at the Academy.
But real quick, yes, we're doing a live stream. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have a great time with it. But it goes back to that cancel culture again with Kevin Hart. I mean, you're telling me you want that guy not to host? What has he done?
Nothing.
He told a couple jokes, and that's it.
But more so, you can't even get the actual show's actual runtime right. And then, like, when they first announced that they were going to take out 4 categories and reduce them to commercial breaks, it's like, okay, so what are the categories? Cinematography, editing.
That's tough.
The things that you fucking need. Like, these are the geniuses who put these movies together.
Right.
What's a movie that's unedited?
I can't imagine 4 topics I would take out.
No.
You can't. You might as well
be there.
You might as well take out the acting categories.
Well, outside of the, like I said, the impending shit show that we're going to get with this Oscars, but I have faith. We are doing a live stream this Sunday for the Oscars.
February 24th.
24th.
So February 24th, 5 p.m. is when it's going to drop. Yeah, should be the 24th. Yeah. 24th, yeah. Yeah, February 24th.
We're counting.
5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time is when it's going to drop on our side, and that's when we'll actually be recording it. It will be here in the studio. We will be live streaming and probably drinking as well.
We'll hopefully have some of the Beat Network family stopping by, make a quick appearance to us to say what's up to you guys, For the most part, like Dave said, we're going to have it as a...
We should do a drinking game in the middle of this.
Like the nominees coming up, so we me and you guess somebody, whoever gets the guess wrong has a drink.
Right, that's one way to do it. Or however many times somebody repeats itself or goes over the run time, we have to take a drink together.
We're gonna get fucking slammed.
That's what I'm talking about, man.
Okay, no problem. I think I'm in for this. Yeah, I'm in for this. So join us this Sunday. Jay and Dave, back to classes. We are going to the Oscars. No, not to the Oscars, but we are going to live stream the Oscars for you guys.
They haven't invited us yet, and they're missing out.
But we're coming though. I don't want to host. I don't want no shit dug up about me. But we're going to do that. Join us this Sunday for the live stream of the Oscars. Let's get into some other stuff.
So
we've been sitting on this for a little while now.
It has been, and before we get started on this topic, we want to stress that not all the information has been out yet. We don't know exactly where this is going to take. We could be 100% wrong about all of this at this point. But this is some fucked up shit.
Some fucked up shit. What are we talking about? We're talking about you've been there for the news. I'm sure you yourself have had a reaction to this, whether it's that's fucked up too. Man, bullshit. Jussie Smollett. Now this is a movie talk show, but he is on considerably one of the most popular, yet one of the more successful shows on Fox.
Right.
As far as present day. Even though I know Empire is pretty much dropping far as viewers, but give the background to what actually happened as far as what he told us.
From what we know, and I'm going to keep this as short without as many details as I can, right? Around 2 a.m., January 29th, I think was when it happened.
It was a cold winter night.
It was a cold winter night in Chicago, Illinois. Jussie Smollett was attacked by 2 individuals. These individuals first started screaming, "This is MAGA country," and started using derogatory and very offensive language. Calling him a faggot, saying the N-word, things along that. Recognized him as somebody from the show Empire. Mm-hmm. Okay. Jesse was going out to eat Subway. He picked up Subway, if I'm not mistaken.
At 2 o'clock in the morning.
At 2 o'clock in the morning. It was -9 degrees. He had a rope tied around his neck and was beaten in the face. He was punched for sure. He was able to fight them off, and he had bleach poured on him. Now, what has transpired? That's how it started.
That was the initial story we got.
Okay. And to be fair, Jay and I had some questions, but we want to give the benefit of the doubt. And for a couple reasons. And this is why the story is so interesting and entertaining for us. This is a pretty serious issue in terms of the black community and in terms of the gay community as well, because Jussie Smollett is homosexual. Right. He's a member of both. But what was so interesting about this is that it really affected, both communities simultaneously and almost immediately. The reaction was absolutely 100% positive for him. They wanted to show his support, his undying support. Potential presidential candidates Kamala Harris and Cory Booker through their support behind him. He interviewed a couple times regarding afterwards, and there was questions that were involved. Obviously, the police believed him for sure. And they would later say that there's 2 suspects that they think is involved. So where's it going to go? From here? So to present day, what wound up happening, February 13th, two Americans who were visiting family in Nigeria, black, were brought in for questioning, although no charges were filed. It is one of the reasons why this was such a fantastic and amazing case is because there was actually a threatening letter sent out to the studio at Empire, basically stating basically threatening the life of Jesse at the time. Where it's gone from here is police hadn't made no arrest. They stated that these individuals were cooperating with the police, and they stated that Jussie Smollett paid them $3,500 to actually to attack him. Now there's another thing stating that he may have actually been involved in the letter that was sent to the studio in the first place.
Okay, so
that's a lot. There's a lot to unpack there. So. Real quick, first and foremost, because unfortunately, I'm going to reserve my opinion on this a little bit. And the reason why is because I don't think it's fair for myself as a white male that I should have a very dissenting voice about this, because there could be some cultural things that sometimes different cultures don't fully understand. So when you first heard about this news, Jay, what was your what was the thing that you thought was most important for this case to be proved?
Okay, so dating back to when I first heard the actual story, what took place, even then, I immediately called bullshit, and I immediately called bullshit because the details of the story just sounded too good. It just sounded like how he breaks it down as to what actually took place is almost like you just wrote a whole new scene for Empire. Because he says that at the time, these are 2 white males wearing a MAGA hat. Oh, and also a ski mask, by the way.
Right.
So there's that right there. So I don't know anybody that's wearing a ski mask and a MAGA hat at the same fucking time, but whatever. Neither here nor there. You mentioned yourself that this is -9 degrees in Chicago. I'm like, so who's just out in -9 degrees? Just out. Even Chicago Days aren't out at 2:00 in the morning at -9 degrees.
So you don't believe him?
I'll get there. I'll get there.
Okay.
But still, I gave him the benefit of the doubt. I wasn't there, so I can't say it didn't happen. But the more and more I kept thinking about it, I mean, we sat and we had a full blown, at least an hour-long conversation about this exact topic. Because as a black man, I know what the dangers are when you get into a spat with someone who is a racist. I also know the ramifications that you can face when getting jumped by two racist people. I feel as if somebody who is, I hate race. Number one, no racist person is watching Empire. No KKK members watching Empire. Let's just put that out there. I know if someone were to jump me because of the color of my skin, they're not going to just simply just jump me to the point to where I can still get up and walk away. If it's just solo me, just Jay, just me by myself getting jumped by somebody who are attacking because of the color of my skin. Never mind my sexuality, just simply the color of my skin. You got it really bad, Jussie Smollett, because this is now your color of your skin and your sexuality. And if you want to count the third, because you're a celebrity. Somewhat. But the more and more I thought about it, my mindset went from I'm supporting this man and whatever ordeal he went through to now, you're fucking lying. You're full of shit, actually, because and not only are you full of shit, you just put a huge laughing emoji on anybody who could possibly go through this situation.
So I'm glad you brought up that that last little point, because I actually have a follow-up question on that. Knowing that, so real quick, just to confirm, you do not believe him, correct?
I believe his story is bullshit.
Okay. Because of that, what sort of impact do you think this will have to both communities and even the combined community of Black gay culture as well? What sort of impact do you think this will have in terms of how everybody's going to view it?
My personal opinion, once we're still getting the facts together. So I said once this situation does unpack and we're now at the official, where do we go from here? Because as we now stand, he's no longer being looked at as a victim. He's not being looked at as somebody who simply reported a crime. You know, to the point to where you could be the suspect in your own fucking crime. Or in your own beating, so to speak. But to know that every day it was something new as far as he paid two Nigerian dudes who fucking know him on a much more personal level than we thought. One was an extra on Empire, the other was his fucking trainer. He paid two Nigerian dudes to orchestrate this whole thing. And then furthermore, you really did make a mockery out of something that, like I said before, people go through this shit practically every day. Blacks and homosexuals go through this every day, whether it's an actual physical beating or a taunting or something that's done by somebody who don't like you for whatever you represent. So here you are making a mockery out of something that people are losing their lives over. So to hear that, I watched a news clip of a civil rights group in LA. You know, I saw primarily black people on the screen, but they're calling for the arrest and, you know, being brought to justice, Jussie Smollett. And it's like, you had us rooting for you, like, yo, like, you'll pull through this. Now, next thing you know, now I'm not saying you're gonna go out and believe the police, but let's just be real. I was skeptical when I first heard the fucking story. So where do we stand now that we have this going on? So I feel as if what's gonna play out now is once it's proven that this whole thing, from the letter that was mailed to the studio to the actual beating that took place, to the facts that surround everything. He's already lost his job on Empire, which I believe he done it so he can not lose his job on Empire. But too late. Fuck that off, because, you know what I'm saying? I feel as if he'll have to face a judge. Most definitely. He'll face the judge for sure. But the negative part of the whole thing is the damage that it does to people who literally go through this. Because now, let's just say, God forbid, the next celebrity to go through something like this, they're immediately met with, oh, really? Like how Jesse met up the last little story. No matter what happens, like as a black or a homosexual person or anybody, any color that's faced with a racist or a homophobic encounter, they now get looked at like, well, how serious is this story? Because don't forget, Jesse pulled that bullshit a couple years ago. You know, that's the skepticism that will immediately come with your story. You feel what I'm saying?
I do. One last question, and then we're going to move on to the actual reason why we're here today. What sort of positive things that we can actually take away from this? And what I mean by that is what sort of lessons can we actually learn from this, as well as how we are supposed to approach future stories like this?
The best way to say it was, listen and do your due diligence and look into it. But we've learned that sometimes doing your due diligence can get you a whole different story that you didn't initially hear the first time. So, just continue. We have to continue to listen to each other. Really, like we have to really, take your fellow man or fellow woman and just really hear them out. You can call the bullshit when you call the bullshit. Like, actually, I think this is the first time that I've heard people unanimously go from support to, oh, no, that's some bullshit, actually. And almost overnight, you know? So in a weird way, we are, uniting on a common ground. Like, that story is bullshit. But go ahead.
Yeah, you definitely bring up good points. Again, I'm not going to throw my 2 cents into it, although I will say that my sentiments do feel very similar to what yours is. What I will say is everybody now needs to recognize that there's always going to be 2-3 sides to every story, right? And everybody's going to have their own opinion about things that is out there. So instead of everybody was so eager to get him the platform to call upon his bravery, and whether it actually happened or not remains to be questioned. But everybody was so quick to have that, and unfortunately, when that happens, and if he is proven to be a liar, there's going to be a lot of bad things that's going to happen from this, because real stories of real people that do go through this is obviously going to get hurt. What we need to learn from this, obviously, is to take it seriously, to get the facts right, and to be diligent in our own investigation. And it's something that, unfortunately, as a society, we just don't, we haven't built that patience anymore to actually do so, because we're still trying to figure out all the facts, trying to figure out how we can connect the dots to certain things. And when that happens, it can ruin it for a couple people, next thing you know, somebody, a story gets corrupted or whatnot. And it's a bit unfortunate, when that happens, because people are always looking for a hero, but people are always looking for find ways to take heroes down. And it's one of the things that again, I wanted to circle this back to with the cancel culture idea. People always believe that there's something better out there. Oh, no. This can't be it. This isn't my presidential candidate that I'm going for. No. The person that I want playing Blade, needs to be this person only, right. Or so on and so forth. And there are good things about that. It's good to be passionate about that, but sometimes there isn't anything better. Sometimes what's presented to you is what's out there. And once again, the reason why I'm going slightly political about this is people are going to look at the 2020 election, and they're going to see all the candidates that the Democrats have, and they're all going to find a flaw with them. Mm. Every single one of them has a flaw with them. Mm. But it's not about looking at the flaws of a person and blowing it up on a big screen. It's about finding the things that make sense and make it work and what works for you to make sense and to basically go forward with it. That's the issue that's going to come through all of this, is that now people with real issues are not going to be listened to because they're going to immediately assume that a similar story already sounds the same.
Well, I mean, there's that. And then I think the overall first reaction is going to simply be, if he is in fact proven that he made this whole thing up, why? What was the end goal to this movie you just wrote? Like, you know, like what was your ultimate goal here? Because if it's because you wanted to you didn't want to get written off the show, you're written off the show. It's because, you know, if he did, you know, orchestrate that letter coming to the station, what was the goal? You know what I'm saying? It's almost like you wanted to play a role in ruining your career.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So anyway.
So let's get into the topic at hand. I'm really excited about this movie. It's one of my favorites. It's a lot of fun.
Yes. So
do you have the 2-minute drill questions up and ready?
I have a 2-minute drill clock ready. Yes, I do.
Right.
Yes, I do. All right. A little bit of 2-minute drill action going on today. I'm pretty sure I'm going to call right now. Dave's going to beat me. Because I haven't seen this movie in a long time. It's been a long time since I've seen this movie. But I'm going to go hit you with something real quick. 2-minute drill starts now. All right. So, can you pronounce Samir's last name?
Krishna Diravar or something like that.
No, that's fine. It's actually, I'm gonna try. Naginagar.
Okay, sure.
No, Naginajar. There we go.
How many different bosses does Peter have at Initech?
3.
Nope.
No?
8.
Shit.
Go ahead.
All right. Joanna and Peter bond over their shared loathing of the idiotic management and their love for what TV series?
TV series? I thought it was just kung fu movies.
No, it's an actual TV series. Well, you kind of answered the question, but it's
so kung fu.
The TV series.
The
Kung
TV
Fu.
series
Yes.
Kung Fu.
Mm-hmm.
What is Milton's last name?
Milton's last name? Shit. Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Jackson.
Nope. Wadhams.
Wadhams?
Wadhams.
All right. When they are smashing the office machines.
Oh, you're gonna ask me what song it is. I don't know
What song? What song's in the background?
I don't know what song it is.
You don't take a guess?
It's NWA.
No. It's actually the Ghetto Boys.
Yeah,
Still.
So fine.
Yeah. 18 seconds.
All right. What time was it when Peter checked his watch on Monday?
Oh shit. 9.
Close. 9:12.
Do I get that?
Nope.
Well, that was 2-minute drill. Who won that?
I did. I got my one.
How? I answered some questions.
Right.
We should really.
Which one did you get right?
Do I get the point back for the Naginagar? No.
Nah.
Man, whatever. Well, we'll take. If you don't know what movie we're talking about, we are taking it back to 1999, as we're doing this whole year. February of 1999, Black History Month back in 1999.
That's correct.
With the, we can honestly say the cult classic, Mike Judge's Office Space.
Mm-hmm.
Original release date, February 19th, 1999. Shares opening weekend with Jawbreaker and October Sky. You ever seen Jawbreaker? You had to see Jawbreaker.
Maybe once a long time ago.
I think we were living in LA when we drove by the actual film shoot for it. Me and Los.
No kidding.
Yeah. Like, what movie is it? It was called Jawbreaker. Like, oh, what's it about? Couldn't tell the shit. But I do remember October Sky with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, that was all right. Okay, October Sky is one of those movies that it doesn't lie. It doesn't stand the test of time.
Mm-hmm.
It's has a pretty good story overall, but and it's important. It's kind of like Mr. Holland's Opus in that case. You know how Mr. Holland's Opus
just pulled that one right out.
Well, because it's a fantastic movie.
Right.
Mr. Holland's Opus is a fantastic movie, but it's like, tell me who's in the movie.
I mean, outside of Dreyfus, you got me there.
Ironically, there's actually really, I think, I don't want to say it's Terrence Howard, but there's an actual really famous black actor in it that I can't think of off the top of my head. I'm actually going to look this up now that I think about it.
Okay. Well,
because he plays the drummer boy, and they were making fun of it because he was basically like a jock and he wasn't supposed to like get anywhere. And so they were like, okay, well, we have to find a way to like get him in. And they gave him like the drums. It was kind of,
to be honest with you, I think when it comes to October Sky, I think I do not remember what that movie was about.
So October Sky was one about the building of rockets and how the kid wound up going into NASA after his family like worked the mines where he's from, and he got inspiration from his soon to be dead teacher to follow his dreams. And there you go. See, I summed that movie up real quick.
Yeah. Okay. Now,
Terrence Howard.
So this
Terrence Howard is in Mr. Holland's Opus
as a drummer boy.
Yeah, Lawrence Ross or Leonard Ross or something like that. But he's all like doom, 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 doom. Yeah.
Do you remember 3 years prior to that, he was in Sunset Park?
Yeah,
as Spaceman.
Yeah, I do actually.
Oh yeah. Production budget.
Since we're on Empire today.
Yeah, exactly. Production budget $10 million with a box office total of $12.2 million. Currently sitting at an 80% on Rotten Tomatoes. This probably has to be one of the highest rated movies
we've done in a while.
In a good minute.
I got to be honest. I think it kind of. I think it's fair. Like, this was based off Mike Judge's comic strip Dilbert, which is one of my favorite comic strips. And it's talking about work. It's talking about working in the office and how ridiculous sometimes it can actually be.
Right.
Now I work in an office, so it's kind of hilarious when I see this because it's true. There is certain things you just don't give a shit about in the office, yet somehow it takes up all of your conversations. It's funny. Have you ever tried to have a conversation with your coworkers when it doesn't really have to rely on work?
Yeah, I've tried. I've actually done it, but what it is though is when okay, so for example, we just had our banquet at my job, right?
Right.
And lead up all month was like, hey, so hey, you go to the banquet? Like, dude, yes. Why are you keep asking about the shit? That type of shit.
So, but have you ever gone out with your coworkers and have a conversation that did not or not talk about work that night?
Like we never talked about work at all?
That night.
Nope.
No, exactly. Like that's your connection they have to these other people.
Right.
And it's one of those things where it's like, I have a friend of mine that we were coworkers, at one point. And we just wound up becoming better friends because of it. And that's fine. But most of the time, like, you don't want to get involved with your coworkers. So this movie kind of starts out very quickly. Peter, I always want to say Gallagher, and
Gibbons.
I know Gibbons. Peter Gibbons is driving to work, and he's stuck in the middle of traffic. And and we all know exactly what this is like. And on the side, he sees an old man in a walker, and he's moving faster than all of traffic. So getting irritated, he decides to move over into the next lane. Lo and behold, it's stuck once again. So he goes back into the other lane and just gets stuck once again. And it's like, you ever just have that morning drive that there's no way possible you're going to make it to work on time, no matter what you do? Because that's exactly what that fucking drive is.
Yeah, I've done that. I've driven to work to where on the freeway, I'm just changing lanes. I'm just like, fuck, I'm late. I'm going to be late.
So also in the scene, you get the introduction of his two closest coworkers, Nadir, last name unknown.
Nagina Najjar.
Nagina Najjar.
Nagina Najjar. Samir Naginajad.
Samir Naginajad, who is having a psychedelic freak out in his car. And you also get Michael Bolton, no relation to the actual singer.
But he hates having the name
right.
Michael Bolton.
And he is just blasted. He is just blasting gangster rap, as he would later say. And what's going on. I mean, he's throwing all the words in there, and it's hilarious. Then he sees basically what looks like a homeless black guy walking up, and he kind of does the white thing where he kind of like looks over to the door lock, and he just kind of pushes down on the door lock real quick to,
Have you done that?
to lock the door. No, hell no. You kidding? You getting a ride? Where you going?
I ain't fucking scared. All right. Peter Gibbons is played by Ron Livingston.
Yes.
An actor you don't see a whole lot of, but
he's definitely been around. He just,
right.
Everybody thought he was going to be a lot bigger than he actually was, and he just kind of got pigeonholed into a couple things. One of the great things about this movie is just how realistic sometimes these managers come up, and it's like Peter gets into his office, and the first thing that happens is that there's the office door, and he knows what's about to happen, so he tries to go slowly to touch it, and static electricity like shocks him. Like it's just everything that's going on in this Monday, of a day.
Case of the Mondays
is about to come up. So he goes and he sits down, and the first person to actually stop by is one of the best. It was actually ranked number one villain of all villains to ever exist, Gary Cole's Bill Lumbergh.
Oh my God.
And Bill is amazing because he has the same approach to everything he goes. You can tell he's one of those bosses that's just zoned out. He does not care what you have to say. So he goes, Peter, what's happening? Last night you sent out those reports, and I did not see the cover on it for the TPS reports. Did you get that? And Peter's obviously trying to explain to him. He's all like, yeah, I'm wondering if you got the memo that we have. I'll make sure that we kind of send you the same memo again. Meanwhile, in the background is Peter's very annoying coworker, and she's all like, accounts payable, Nina speaking. Just a moment. Accounts payable, Nina speaking. Just a moment. And just doing that constantly. And we also get the introduction to another classic character, Stephen Root's Milton Waddams.
Well, actually, this movie is based off of the of Mike Judge's comic strip about Milton.
Right. But the comic strip is Dilbert.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Right, it's Dilbert.
So initially it's supposed to be told through the eyes of Milton, right?
It's supposed to be so. It's a little weird because Dilbert isn't necessarily like Stephen Root's Milton is really, really, really different from how Dilbert is, because he almost doesn't seem functional as a human being. But right.
Okay, I can.
So like one of the things that like happens is that Peter asks him to turn down his radio, and he just kind of goes off on this very quiet, mumbling rant about how it is at the respective level that there's I could listen to my radio in the morning, and it is at a respectable level. And it's just like all of this crap, and it's hilarious in a lot of fashions because it's very simplistic comedy. Like it's relatable to everybody because after Lumbergh leaves, his next boss comes up to talk to him about the same damn issue all over again, and just keeps going and going. So he finally leaves, and he goes and he asks the two guys, he asks his buddies Michael and Samir to go get drinks because he just can't have it. Right. And somebody was just like, oh, it sounds like a case of the Mondays. And we get the introduction as they go into Tchotchkes, which is a local restaurant where they can get coffee. They get the introduction to Joanna, Jennifer Aniston's character. And this is really one of the first times that Aniston kind of appears on screen. On screen in a movie wise, like we're used to her as Rachel from Friends at this point. So it's like, so it was a little bit, it was kind of a nice surprise for everybody to kind of see her doing her job that she does in Friends, into this. But they get introduced to each other, or they didn't get introduced, but they saw each other, and that was kind of that. And, as he gets home, we get the introduction of one of my favorite, actually probably my favorite character in this entire movie, Diedrich Bader's Lawrence. And the apartment walls of Peter is so low that Lawrence is like, hey, he's like, hey, Peter, check out channel 7. He goes, why? He's like, damn it, Lawrence, can't you just pretend that we can't see it? He's like, oh, I'm sorry, man. Did you have a girl over? And he's all like, no. He's like, well, can I come over? And he's like, yeah, go ahead. So he comes over and he changes it to the channel, and they're doing a breast exam on a girl. So she's completely topless on the TV, and they like checking out the breast and whatnot. He's just like being a complete perv, but he's hilarious.
With that mullet and that weird ass mustache.
Right. And he's known for the Drew Carey show. Right. Obviously. So, but he gives one of my favorite lines. Peter says to him, hey, Lawrence, in your line of work, has anybody ever asked you if you had a case of the Mondays? So like, nah, man. Nah, that's fucked up. You'd get your ass kicked. And he is dead serious throughout this entire thing. So what's supposed to happen is Peter goes to a hypnotherapist, and this hypnotherapist, who is, what's his name?
Dr. Swanson.
Right. Mike McShane. Mm-hmm. And Mike McShane's you've seen him in a lot of things. Like he is well known in, he's been in Whose Line Is It Anyway? Tom and Huck, Tower of Terror. He voiced characters in Spawn. He was, voiced a character in Dave the Barbarian. Like he's one of those guys that like every time you see him, you just know exactly what you're getting. He was, Tuck in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. He was, Kramer's nemesis. Franklin Delano Romanowski from Seinfeld. Like he's one of those guys that like in the 90s, you just can't help but say, oh yeah, I know that guy. I know exactly he is. And you would like quote, right. Yeah. He has that face.
You can definitely always remember. Like, yeah, definitely.
Right. So, and in this process, he decides to try to treat Peter. And by the way, one of the running jokes of it was, I don't know why, but I always just feel like my girlfriend's cheating on me. And I just feel like Anne's cheating on me. And Lauren straight up says, yeah, I get that feeling too.
Like, dick, all right.
So what winds up happening, obviously, is the hypnotherapist dies.
Of a heart attack.
Mm-hmm. But Peter hasn't snapped out of it yet.
He's still currently hypnotized, and he dies of a heart attack.
And he proceeds he was supposed to work that Saturday and Sunday, and he proceeds to sleep in till like 3 p.m. on that Saturday. Just feeling great. Like checking every once in a while. Finally his girlfriend calls, says, Peter, what's gotten into you? Blah, blah, blah. And he just kind of like hangs up the phone and kind of confirms the fears that he's actually cheating on her. And we kind of get a brand new Peter. And out of this.
Okay, so let's touch on this brand new Peter, because I know for a fact that when that scene does pop up, I am just really, really wishing I was him. I mean, granted, I love my job. I do well there. But there are times I want to walk in and just give that grand entrance that Peter gives. Like I want to take the cubicle down. I want to look at outside the windows. I'm gonna take my cubicle down. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's what I want to do. So when he shows up like on this huge I don't give a fuck attitude, I stood and I applauded.
Because it's all of it. He goes, he doesn't show up that weekend. He comes in on Monday. He comes in on Monday and is just not wearing a suit or whatnot, or not really dressed up. He's just kind of like in casual clothes. And, you know, he goes to basically get something. And in this process, by the way, Initech, which is the company, has decided to go ahead and bring in 2 consultants to basically downsize the company. So they're going to get rid of other non-essential personnel. There's also, you know, Milton is starting to get the level of disrespect that he's about to get, and he kind of plays a key part. And in this case, it was somebody's birthday, right? And they decide, and as they're passing around the cake, you know, they were like, Milton, everybody else gets a cake too. Make sure you keep passing it down. And he's kind of protesting, but they said, just pass it down. And it winds up, he doesn't even get a fucking piece of cake. Like none of it. Like nobody cares.
I have a similar story from work. I'm going to tell you off air.
Oh, no.
Continue.
Okay. So what winds up happening, let's see. So Peter goes fishing. He fillets a fish right there. He knocks down his cubicle wall. Lumber comes around. So they get to the consulting side of things, and they wind up firing Samir and Michael Bolton, right, because they get excited, and they actually bring in the guy from Scrubs. What's his name?
John C. McGinley.
You were right. John C. McGinley. Bob Slidell. And he goes and he basically like asks all sorts of questions, and he's all like, "Man, I tell you, you must be the biggest fan. It probably doesn't get much better for me than when Michael Bolton sings 'When a Man Loves a Woman,' you know." And the character Michael Bolton is like, yeah, like he's trying to be cool, but at the same time, like he just doesn't care for him. And they're like, so Michael, and he's like, oh, you know what? You could actually just call me Mike, and it changes the entire fucking conversation. Like it just it's like, oh, he doesn't really like him, and that's pretty much what got him fired. Like they don't really say why he never was getting fired, and you know. It's just a small comedy of these things. So we're gonna fast forward. We're gonna fast forward a little bit. Obviously, through Peter's nonchalantness, he goes through his interview, and they say, go ahead.
No, did we get to the smashing the?
No, this is before.
Just before. Okay.
So Peter goes, and they're like, hey Peter, and they're like, what's happening, Bobs? And they're like, looks like you've been missing a lot of work. And he goes, what? I wouldn't really say that I miss work, you know, and they all kind of like start chuckling and whatnot. And Peter winds up getting fucking promoted through all of this. It was so weird. He's all like, Bobs, good luck with your firings. I'll catch you guys later. You know, just like so chill and cool. They kind of throw it back into Lumbergh's face, you know, a little bit. Bill, we just want to ask, how much time do you spend on these TPES reports we talk about? Yeah. So Peter and Joanna kind of start going out. They have a love for kung fu movies, which is great. And Peter kind of comes up with an idea of how, well, I just don't really want to work that much anymore. And he actually finds out that his two buddies are getting ready to get fired. Mm-hmm. So they come up with a scheme to basically, and here's how this works. The scheme basically is that there's a computer error where they go down to a level of a decimal place that just gets rounded off, right? And to be honest, this is very true. Like all payroll systems do this. And the idea was to take that rounding number and to put it into a bank account instead and let it build up over time. Like it is stealing from the company, but it's such a minimal amount that the company wouldn't even recognize it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So anyway, I try to do like this epic thing with it on the day that's fired. And it's just like really just like sticking a floppy disk into a computer and just copying it over. And then that was it. Like that was that. Then Peter says, I got you guys a little extra present, you know? And that's where we get to the famous scene.
Which is easily going to be probably my iconic scene because when the music kicks on and it's the Ghetto Boys still, right? You have that. And then Samir just goes to town on this fucking computer to the point to where like they have to like hold him back. Like it's a real person he's fighting.
Well, Samir, not only Samir, but Michael. Michael straight up starts punching this printer on his hands and knees and just wailing on it. And this is an 89-minute movie. This scene took 2 minutes.
Yes.
Of time because they wanted to show how much frustration it is sometimes when you just have a printer that doesn't work or something stupid that just that's not going your way. So yeah, I felt that. I felt that greatly because I know exactly what they go through.
My God. So we're at this barbecue and Peter learns that Joanna had previously slept with a colleague named Lumberg.
Right. And it just like set the stage for him to kind of be like pissed off at her. And it's a very early couple mistake and whatnot. Mm. And then, and she goes, I don't understand why you're so mad about it. Maybe I'm so mad because you slept with Lumberg. just all this stupid stuff, coming through, with it. She also questions the morality of this like financial, scheme, and they actually split up, because of it. So then Peter goes and he checks the bank account to see how the first day of this coding went through. And it shows that the bank account has over $300,000 in it. Now, as an accountant, believe me, we look for shit like that all the time.
You find that shit.
Oh, no doubt about it. Easily. That is fraud. Joanna stands up to her boss and finally quits. And Peter, and Peter later discovers that who she actually slept with was a completely different Lumberg in general. But in this process, he kind of has to explain to his friends and they kind of start like coming up with a scheme to actually launder money. And we actually get a nice cameo appearance from Orlando Jones.
Yes. His character is, Steve.
Right.
He plays Steve.
Who, by the way, who by the way has a background in software engineering as well, as he mentions. And he's all like, I make more money doing this. So go ahead. Tell us a little bit about Steve.
Now, actually, you take Steve actually, because though he's a very interesting character. He wasn't one of the ones that just stuck with me. I mean, it's Orlando Jones, and whatever he does, he's great in. But just for some reason, that character, it just didn't affect me as quick as it would.
So he tries to talk about how he's like he's trying to basically sell magazines, and he mentions how he was a former crackhead, right? And in this process, they're like, "Oh, a former crackhead," and they go, "Well, how what do you know about all this?" And so they get to talking to him. Come to find out, no, he just makes more money selling magazines, and the crackhead part is just an easy way for him to make a little extra money. The best part about this is that he winds up basically blackmailing them to buy some magazine subscriptions, even though the three of them were likely to go to jail, you know. And I don't know, it was just a little hilarious. But my favorite part in that entire scene, to be honest, was after everybody leaves, he goes and he knocks on his wall and he says, "Lawrence, you there?" He's like, "Yeah, man, I'm here." And he goes, "You want to come over?" He's like, "No thanks, man. I don't want you fucking up my life either."
So I'm gonna run this back real quick to Joanna. She had this boss that got on her about the pins on her vest.
The flare.
The flare.
Right.
You see, whatever the coworker's name is, see the guy over there? See, he has 175 flares. You have
27 flares. Which is the bare minimum that we have here.
But the dude's whole body is covered in just flare.
And not only that, but he literally says, we just want you to feel like you could express yourself here. You know, we want you to feel like you have no problems expressing yourself. I mean, he's basically admitting that the restaurant is shit, but the people come here basically for the fucking flares. You ever had somebody that was like that? That's like, look, the pizza here is fine, but we really give it because of the Papa John's service that's out there. It's like,
I've got that a lot. Yeah.
It's like, come on, man. It's the same goddamn service I put in Sitel. It's the same goddamn service I put in casinos. It's the same goddamn service. You're just paying me a different amount.
Well, you know what? The funny thing is, I actually discovered flair after watching this movie. 100%.
Did you get a vest?
No, but I remember going to a few restaurants. Like, you have all the buttons on your fucking vest. You know what I mean? But whatever. Anyway,
so Peter goes and he admits to her that the scheme was a bad idea and plans to accept responsibility. He writes out a confession. He slips it under Lumberg's office door late at night, along with a traveler's check for the stolen money. But Milton, who has increasingly become disrespected, has gone from having his cubicle where it was. By the way, he had this whole thing. He's all like, and I used to sit right next to the window, and there was some squirrels, and they were married, and they were my friends. And I was like, God
okay,
damn.
But I can set the building on fire.
So they moved him from the floor. Come to find out, he actually was laid off like 5 years ago, but a payroll glitch had actually continued to pay him. So they wound up doing that, and instead of confronting him about it, which is a piece of shit thing to do, by the way, instead of confronting him about it, they just decide to let him understand that he's just that he hasn't been getting paid. Oh man. And trust me, I know companies that do that shit. It is awful. So anyway, so Milton has been moved downstairs. He's told to take care of the roach problem that's down there. Like, it's just all disrespect. So after Peter, the next day, Peter slides traveler checks. The next day he comes in and lo and behold, and it tech's on fire. Like, the entire building is burning down.
It's on fire.
And he kind of takes a look over and he sees Milton, kind of there looking at the scene of a pretty obvious scene that he set the building on fire, but nobody was going to pay him any attention. He just kind of walks himself away.
Clearly, he Mill told you he was going to do it, and he just does it.
So Peter, recognizing that he just doesn't really care for the type of work, goes to his next job. He goes to he gets hired with a construction company to work with Lawrence, obviously. And him and Joanna are doing fine. Michael and Samir get another job in a different, similar office setting that they were in.
I believe they were rivals of Initech.
Right. And they basically said, oh, we could put in a good word for you and whatnot. And he's just like, nah, man, like I'm good out here. And that's Office Space.
Yeah.
I did a lot of talking on this one.
Yeah, you did. I mean, I don't mind. But that is Office Space. Let's get into some takeaways. You know what? I have a question for you. Office Space in 2019. Could you remake a movie like this and still make it completely relatable?
Relatable, absolutely. Mm-hmm. I think people have tried similar things, but they don't know how to incorporate the full humor of it. In fact, they've done it plenty of times with TV shows like The Office, with Parks and Recreations, things like that, where they recognize that there was basically a gem of comedy that was here. So why don't we build that out? And it's hilarious because TV shows like The Office, they really kind of set forth, the new frontier of comedy and storytelling that's kind of happened because of it. And really, they can kind of think a little bit of this from The Office or from Office Space.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I feel like in this day and age, we can definitely create a work environment movie. Like, even myself, I was putting together ideas of writing a treatment for something, but and really based off my own experiences being in the office, and Yeah, I feel like with the right writer, you can really put some good shit together. You know what I mean?
It's not a hard way to think about it. You know, all you gotta do is build your characters.
Right.
You know, the rest of the story will write itself.
Right. Well, let's get to some takeaways. David Danger Neff. Who's getting your That Guy Award?
It's going to be Lawrence, because Lawrence is one of those guys that just he knows exactly his values. Like he like they asked him one time and they said, Lawrence, what would you do if he had $1 million? And he was like, 2 chicks at the same time.
2 chicks at the same time.
so like, Lawrence, you don't need $1 million for that. He goes, I know, but it's easier to get chicks if they know they have $1 million. Like that was like that's how his brain
That's
worked.
a life lesson for him.
He did not care about money. Like he was, in a way, he was exactly who Peter always wanted to be. Somebody who was kind of free spirited, who just kind of, you know, did his own thing and did his job and just kind of came home and did whatever. Right. You know, but yeah, it's going to be Lawrence.
You're That Chick Award?
Unfortunately, there's only one, so it's Joanna.
Mm-hmm.
To be fair, Joanna was they definitely try to make Jennifer Aniston definitely likable by giving her the sense of the kung fu movies, obviously, as well as somebody who you know, even though there wasn't too much to the character in itself, like it's nice to have. It was a nice introduction for Jennifer Aniston.
The Fool Award.
So there's a couple, and a lot of it wants me to go to Bill Lundberg, but Bill Lundberg is too much of a legend in this movie to be considered the fool, because in some ways he could be That Guy Award for some people, because he is, of all the characters in this movie, in my eyes, he's the one that is the most recognizable. Right. That everybody's going to say, oh yeah, I know a Bill Lundberg. But so my That Fool Award would actually probably go to, I can't remember what the character's name is, but the waiter, the other waiter with 145 pieces of flair or whatever.
Oh,
He was just kind of like this little douchebag dick that just, you know, he just, you know, like flipping people off. Get a room, you two.
Made the nose again?
Yeah. That's what he did. Like he just, like he's one of those, he's one of those overachieving white guys that drives me up a fucking wall.
Right. Cut that out.
Probably the O-face guy. Like, they try to do a little bit extra humor with the guy that was just like, if she's lucky, I'll show her my O-face. Oh, like, didn't need it at all. Gotcha. Like that is such forced comedy in my eyes that it's not even funny.
Iconic scene.
Yeah, the printer scene. It's the one scene that really stands out to everybody. There's people that have spoofed this many times, and yeah, it's pretty easy. Like it's just that. My co-host Jay Alonso is getting That Guy Award. That Guy Award
goes to, I just forgot his actual first name, Livingston's character.
Oh, Peter.
I want to call him Dave so bad. Peter definitely shows you when you finally have the opportunity to simply say, fuck it. This is what fuck it looks like when it works.
Right.
And I found it to be kind of inspiring, because I feel like some people saw this movie and really tried to attempt that.
Right. That Chick Award.
That Chick Award, I'm with you. Obviously, Jennifer Aniston, because she's in it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That Fool Award.
That Fool Award will have to go to Milton, even though he's probably one of my favorite characters. But just the fact is, guy's nutty as shit. Like he's not all the way there. You know he's not all the way there. He loved the two squirrels and married couple and they're his friends. But the fact that he tells them, which almost pulls him out of that Fool Award, he tells them, I can always set the building on fire. And it sets the building on fire.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But you gotta give major shout outs to Stephen Root for his portrayal of that.
Yes. I've never seen him put on such a comic gold of a performance. And he really does comedy. So the fact that he does it like that, I was like,
yeah, really nails it with that. Cut that out.
Cut that out. I'm going to join you on the old guy, the old face guy. It was just it felt forced. But I mean, you have so much other comic gems around you. You didn't necessarily need the guy, but yeah.
Right, and iconic scene.
I'm also gonna. Well, you took mine first. I said it first, but the actual destroying of the office computers is fun only because of the soundtrack that leads up to it. And then they walk up so thugged out. It looks. Listen, they slow it down when they walk off. It's the fact where one looks back like bitch. Like I love that last that last frame is my favorite frame.
And that's Office Space.
There's Office Space. So let's get just a little bit of quick hits here, so you can wrap this puppy up. Quick hits for Office Space. I lost my page. There we go. The iconic red stapler, coveted by Milton, was created for the film by the prop department. They needed a bright enough color to be seen on film and chose red. After the film was released, Swingline began to receive requests from customers for red staplers.
And trust me, we have them in our office also.
Having stopped offering red several years before, they made the decision to start offering the color once more. And now, because of this movie, red staplers are incredibly popular.
Exactly.
To make stapler.
Right.
You know, yes. The PC load letter scene was not scripted. David Herman had more lines to say to Ron Livingston, but was interrupted by the photocopier jamming and didn't understand what it meant.
PC load letter? What does that mean? What is it? Like gets upset. Like Peter has to pull him away. Go ahead.
Orlando Jones based his character off on his niece. According to Jones, his little niece would sell Girl Scout cookies door to door with a poor attitude.
Wow. Go on.
After a poor box office performance, the movie gained cult status on video. Mike Judge has said more people talked to him about this movie than any other project he has ever worked on. Judge was offered a chance to make a sequel, Office Space 2, still renting, but said that he had been through enough anguish over the first one that he didn't want to put himself through that experience again.
To be honest, it's one of those movies that I feel like it will only be hurt if there is a sequel.
Yeah, it's definitely a one and done kind of situation.
And not only that, but it's that much more interesting by having it be a standalone. That, and think about that with the Mike Judge comment there.
Right.
You know, he created Beavis and Butthead. Like, that is huge.
Yeah, you're right.
Beavis and Butthead in the 90s was basically the white Rick and was the Rick and Morty of the 90s. You know,
I won't give it that much credit.
No, you
would?
Yes, absolutely. There are scenes in Beavis. They made a movie off of it before a Simpsons movie. So think about that. They made a movie off of it. There's always little spin-off things with it. That's the one thing that none of the kids were allowed to watch.
Right.
Like you could not watch Beavis and Butthead because it was so stupid and yet hilarious, especially when you get like the bloody nose episode, which is my personal favorite because it's just comedy all over the place.
Gore. I learned who the fuck Gore was from watching Beavis and Butthead.
You will learn about chodes and TP for my bunghole as well.
Yeah. Okay.
I did say, I'm not saying it's a good show, but it definitely had its impact in those MTV years.
I love the movie too. I think the movie was great.
The movie is a hidden gem in my eyes.
In addition to the red Swingline stapler, which became a reality, some fans of the film created their own jump to conclusions mat.
Yep.
When Peter is in the meeting room, on the whiteboard behind him, there's a complicated flowchart titled Planning to Plan.
Right.
And last but not least, loosely based upon Herman Melville's short story, Bartleby the Scrivener.
Give me another.
You want another one?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can get it.
That was a little weak.
Let me see. Get something a little stronger and good. That satisfies Mr. Neff.
Thank you. I have my demands, peasants.
Number of sugar packets Michael Bolton adds to his coffee. 5.
Yeah.
Shit.
It's something ridiculous.
Well, wow. Well, that's Office Space. Got to this one pretty quickly, actually. Not a bad one.
Considering, our earlier topic, yeah.
Very true. Very true. Now, don't forget, like we said, we do have Oscars this coming Sunday. We're going to try to get an appearance from the Beat Network crew. Los is in the building actually right now. Say hi, Los.
Hi.
Los is here. And well, anyway, Oscar Sunday is going down.
Is that even going to be caught by the microphone? It's a hi.
It's a hi.
It'll be edited.
Los voice travels. It's good. It's good. Danger Neff, where can they find you?
You can always find me on all the latest at beatnetworkonline.com, where some of my articles are actually posted up. I am the co-host here for Back to the Classics, as well as a co-host for Reel It Back when we're ready to bring that back.
To reel that on back in.
Because that's we got summer coming up, so that totally has to be a thing that happens. We're always wanting content, and we're very interested in having the most amount of content that we possibly could. So we wanted to explore the ideas. If there's anything that you guys want to see us more in, please let us know, and we'll be happy to oblige your request. My co-host, by the way, you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook at David Dageneff as
he's
well.
He's going to pass to me and not say shit, is he? Got it.
Mike, at David Dageneff, you talk to me and I'll talk back. My co-host, Jay Alonso, where can they find you?
Well, you can find me on all the social media simply at I am Jay Alonso. That's Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter. Of course, the Back to the Classics movie talk group, Back to the Classics, a movie talk group, is on Facebook right now. Go ahead and jump in and join the conversation. We've had a really, really solid boost in activity in that movie talk group, which I'm definitely proud to say thank you to the cinema folks out there.
Thank you. Seriously,
it's been really fun getting those going and really chop it up with you guys. And of course, you can follow us right here on BTTC on Instagram at BTTC Podcast. We announce all the newest episodes. And of course, made a shout out to the whole Beat Network family. Shout out to the IR people. Shout out to everybody. What am I missing?
No, you're fine. I just read I just saw the most ridiculous title. It says Burberry. Okay, real quick. I don't want to really continue the show too much further, but Burberry apologizes for debuting hoodie with noose around neck. Are you joking me? Come on.
Okay. Then that's just too damn far now. It's been too damn far, but that's bullshit now. All right, whatever. Listen,
you can't make this shit up.
It's actual news.
Sorry, we're just finding out about this, everybody.
Oh, so the Burberry News hoodie.
This will be something that will be discussed on a different podcast.
Oh, yeah.
But other than that, Cinema folks, thank you so much for dropping in with us. Remember, catch us on the live stream Sunday, February 25th at beatnetworkonline.com to see our Oscar reactions. By the way, if there's a drinking game you want us to play, let us know.
Or you can just join in on the drinking game we've already suggested.
Right, exactly. I mean, we get your bottles ready.
But above all else, we here at Back to Classics are a community of movie lovers. So we hope that you fellow movie lovers will join us for Oscar Sunday, as we just simply celebrate what we enjoy the most: movies.
That's it.
All right. Well, with that being said, I'm Jay Alonso with my guy
Danger Neff.
We about this thing. See y'all next week. Peace. No. See you Sunday.
See you Sunday. Aha.
Later.
Peace.